Welcome back, my little horrors, to another spooktacular Dragula review with me, Charity Kase. Let's dive right into episode 8, shall we? It was a whirlwind of stitches, staples, and straight up tomfoolery. Fools! You idiot! Honestly, I'm still recovering from that elimination. But we will get there. Roll the intro! We start the episode off at the iconic coffin-shaped table, where the boudoir tea is piping hot. The contestants point out that Yuri is next on the chopping block because she hasn't won anything yet. Harsh, but fair. Yuri is technically the least successful on paper right now. She's shown us some amazing drag, but just in comparison to the other queens who've been getting highs and tops, she seems to be falling behind. Then we get a little spat between Auntie and Asia over who had the worst extermination. Ladies, why are we arguing over who has suffered more? Pi said it best, let's stop bickering and move on. You're both brilliant at suffering, okay? This week's theme, Frankenhooker. I love this, it's a dark, camp and sexy concept. They also have to film a sultry lip sync video in their looks. The first characters that jump into my head as inspo were Elizabeth Sparkle, of course, we love the substance.
I'd like to order.
And also Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas with her stitches and her patchwork skin. But first, we have a Fright feat. A Dragula trivia quiz, hosted by the fabulous Cynthia Doll. But this is no ordinary quiz. Oh no. It has an electrifying twist. How shocking. Literally. I think the monsters absolutely bombed this. How do they know so little about Dragula? Even I, with a couple of seasons only half watched, I got most of the questions right.
Ooh, get you.
But Asia definitely stood out. I think she knows the show very well. She was even answering the questions that weren't hers. I like how she was whispering to the camera. I really enjoyed that. She's really good fun to watch. And she is crowned the very deserving winner of this Fright feat. The prize, the Curse of Baldness. Which lets the winner snatch another queen's wig before the Floorshow. Absolute chaos. Meanwhile, Pi officially ends the Auntie alliance situation by telling Auntie that she is flying solo.
You'll always be my sisters.
It's a bit awkward for Auntie, but I think she handles it well, and I think it's probably the smart move from Pi. Honestly, if I was Auntie, I'd be hitting up Grey for the alliance. They've had a connection, they've shown vulnerability together, it seems like they're doing really well, and you know Grey is determined to be in that finale. Now it comes on to the chance where Asia gets to choose somebody to curse.
Eeny, meeny, miny, you.
Why on earth would you curse yourself? You had a golden opportunity to sabotage someone else. I think I would have taken Yuri's wig just because it seemed the most essential to her look. But no, Asia decides to hinder herself instead of someone else. Bold choice. Let's talk about the Floorshow. First of all, the Boulet Brothers looks this week were underwhelming. I appreciate the Gothic architecture vibe on the dresses, I think that's really cool. But the overall looks just looked a little bit like granny chic to me. I would have liked to have seen it with long black Morticia Adams hair and maybe like a matching set of jewelry and headpieces. I think that would have really elevated the look. It's hard not to compare them to like the skull looks and the wormy dresses. They're just like another level, you know? Moving on to the contestants. First up, Yuri. I loved this look from Yuri. I love the textures and all the details on the costume. I love the body shape. I love the material that she chose to use even. I liked her braid with the weapon on the end of it. I really liked all the studs that she had on her head, on the rest of the costume. I really liked the mask that she wore. I liked that it was stuffed and it gave her some face shape. It also reminded me of Monique Shane, which is always a great thing to be reminded of. I love Monique. All the blood dripping from the cracks, all the stitches. It was just super detailed and fabulous. I thought she was padded really well. I really liked the shape of her hips. I like that she was wearing kind of like a skin bodysuit underneath an outfit that was made of skin. It was just a really great concept that was executed really, really well. Props to Yuri this week.
So I didn't really know what to add to Yuri's look, but I ended up splitting her one braid into two. And then I just gave her some earrings, some like flashy glam jewelry, which I thought was a nice touch, but I love this look already.
Moving on to Pi. Wow. Just wow. This look was grotesque, camp, colourful perfection. I love the distorted body, the lumpy arms and shoulders. I really love the distorted face makeup and the choice to have no head but with this bulging. I actually like the choice of doing like quite a masculine character as well for this challenge. I think that was a risk. I already mentioned colour, but I really love Pie's choice to go with bright colours, patchworked bright colours on the body. I think that was really cool and really striking. Again, Pie's look was huge and imposing with a really killer silhouette. And their costume had this really cool gag on the back as well. The hole with the Nolos refused and all the tally charts. Just super comedic and draggy and fun and silly. I really loved this look. And I was gagged that Pie was not in the top. But we'll get to that.
So I gave Pie these big huge ears and also this like hair concept. I thought it was fun to have different coloured textured hair for each different coloured skin that he had. And that gave a little more detail.
Moving on to grey matter. I also loved Grey's look for this challenge. I really liked the face on the back of the head. They mentioned that it looked like the judge, but I actually thought it looked like Donald Trump. I don't know if that was his intention. I really liked the fetishy details and the use of spines on the costume. I also loved the gag with the glowing boobs. I thought that was really, really cool. This look was, again, super polished and high level, which we've come to expect from Grey every week. It was nice to see him in some heels with a little bit more of an effeminate vibe going on. My one critique will have been Grey's makeup. I think I would have preferred to have seen like more of a traditionally glamorous makeup. It doesn't have to be over the top, it doesn't have to be a cut crease, just like a lash and like a smoky eye and a nice cheek contour with a big lip. I think that would have looked even better with this look, made it more sultry, just made it fit the vibe more than being just scary. I would have liked to have seen that balance with his really scary aesthetic, but with a beautiful face.
So I decided to give Grey a corset first of all and some pads. I thought that gave it more of like a lustrous feel. And then I also gave him more of that femme makeup that I said, like some big lips, some lashes. I decided to change the shoe to, I thought it was nice to add these like pink femme touches. So I gave him this pink stripper heel, some pink nails and some long blonde hair.
Moving on to Auntie. Auntie's look this week was super cartoony, super fun. I loved the giant neck bolts on her neck and the big giant green boobs. I also loved her arm reveal gag. I thought that was really funny. I was cackling at that. My only tweak would have been showing a little bit more skin maybe. I definitely preferred her outfit when she took the skirt off. I actually liked that she went for something really cartoony and fun and camp for this challenge. Also, Auntie's colourful appendage. It gave me flashbacks to a Frankenstein act that I do, where I chop off Frankenstein's appendage. And I have a, well, similar explosion on stage. I liked Auntie's headpiece and like the shape of it. I thought that was giving really cool Frankenstein vibes. I just thought she was a little bit too covered up maybe.
So for Auntie's look, I decided to show some more skin. I took off her face mask and gave her this like 3-coloured face situation. And I revealed her arm and one of her legs too. And I also gave the costume these like shaggy ripped details.
Moving on to Asia. I liked Asia's look this week. It gave me anime horror vibes. I like her twisted, mutated arm and all the details of like the bloody organs on her costume, alongside all the faces and the body parts and the textures. It was really cool. But I have a similar critique again. I think it felt a little messy, like a little uncohesive. There was a little bit much going on to make out what was going on. I mean, I could see it better in the stage lighting, but when they were recording the video with the colourful lighting, again, I kind of struggled to make out what was happening. I think it would have been more effective if she'd like taken away a couple of the ideas and maybe just stuck to having like all the organs and body parts and made the bodysuit fully organs and body parts and like bloody, and maybe she could have even been leaking some blood when she walked as a trail. I also would have loved to have seen her cover that neckline with a choker or just something that matches the look. It felt a little disjointed, like somebody wearing a costume with a face of makeup on rather than it being her skin. Just when you can see that join, it takes me out of that fantasy, I guess. I like that she used the brain headpiece. I think that was really cool as well. I kind of would have liked to have seen it with like a skin peeled around it so that it was like the brain was exposed from the skin. Do you know what I mean? Rather than a brain being stuck on top of her skin. But that's a very small niggly thing. Again, we're coming into the final now, so these are very little tiny details. But overall, I did like her look and her aesthetic this week. I just think I would have kind of taken a few bits off before leaving the house. Like, I would have listened to Chanel for once. And this is coming from me, who likes to give girl, bye.
So, I tried a few things with Asia. I first of all covered her with all of these like gory body parts and did some extra like limbs coming out. But then I kind of changed my mind on this and I like uncovered her leg and gave her this cute red stiletto to bring it back to the theme a little. And I took away those extra body parts after a while. And I also gave her a human hand to kind of balance it out. And some glam earrings because, you know, a monster is never ready without their earrings.
I keep losing my staples. I'm gonna split open very soon, so beware. I actually really like this lip sync video. I think it was really cool with the car and the lighting. I think it was really well done. The production value was really good. And I like the gags that people showed with their costumes. Like I said, Grey's lights. I liked Auntie's arm and her removable appendages. And even Pie's back as well. That was really cool. But personally, I think Auntie stole the show. She seems to know how to perform really well. As soon as that camera's on her, she is the moment. And yeah, I just think she's a very captivating performer with clearly a lot of experience. But I think everyone in the lip sync did a pretty good job. So, the Boulet Brothers decide that Grey, Yuri, and Asia are in the top. Yuri wins, which is fair enough, but I think I would have given it to Pie. And speaking of Pie, why wasn't she in the top? In my opinion, her look was easily the best concept, the best executed, and the most imposing on the stage. And I actually disagreed with all of the Boulet Brothers critiques towards Pie's look this week. I think it related to the task perfectly well. I think it stood out because of the colours that they used. I think the gag on the back was brilliant and funny and filthy and very Dragula. I think the makeup was impressive. It was very different to anything we've seen before. And honestly, I'm kind of offended for Pie. I feel kind of insulted that Pie wasn't even in the top. That Pie was up for elimination. Like, what? How? I can't comprehend it, honestly, when Pie looked so good. Pie and Yuri should have been the top two this week. They were both really, really strong looks. But then we have some drama. The Boulets ask everybody to vote for who they want to go home. Asia votes for Grey, which feels a little random, and then the rest of them gang up on Yuri. I think Yuri is coming up at the bottom of the pack right now, so I understand why she was chosen. But these votes mean absolutely nothing because Pie and Auntie are up for extermination. Pie and Auntie. Pie and Auntie. The audacity.
How very dare you.
The extermination challenge this week is standing in a freezer with icy air and water being blasted onto you.
Get ready, guy. All right, go.
This doesn't look very fun. I wouldn't choose to do this one. But both of them toughed it out and it seemed like a draw by the end. But for our final scene, we see Pie frozen in the freezer. No blood, no gore, just a piecicle. I'm suspicious. Like, did she really go home? Or can we defrost her for dessert? Let me just say this. Justice for Pie! I think she has been criminally underappreciated this season. Her look was leagues ahead of everyone else's, and they still sent her home? Absolutely not. I also agree with Pie when she says she's one of the best costume designers they've ever seen. One of the best costume designers that has ever been on Dragula. I think she's made that very clear with her giant, fabulous costumes and her perfect level of execution. I actually really, really enjoyed seeing her drag, so I'm very gutted to not see her next week on my screen. But that's that, I suppose. But R.I.P. Pie, you've been an inspiration to me and have made me want to push my looks further and further every week, so yes. And I will see you in hell very soon. So it looks like that's it for this week, my freaky friends. Let me know your thoughts about this episode down in the comments below. Are you as angry as I am about this elimination? And who's your pick to win as we come up to the final? Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Go on then. Go on, I'm waiting for you. Do it. Do it. Do it. Until next time, stay freaky, stay fabulous, and remember, even the prettiest monsters rot. Eventually. Sleep tight, darlings! You know, these have been an absolute nightmare. I have been sticking them to my face over and over again for this whole entire video, non-stop. And they just keep falling off. Ugh. Ugh. Thanks for watching, everybody. It means a lot. Thank you all for your support. And yeah, let me know if there's any other ideas that you've got for any series that you'd like me to do. I do have some other ideas of like other YouTube videos that I want to make and some tutorials, and I thought about doing like a spooky story time, like a spooky ghost story series where I tell like myths and legends and ghost stories in my drag looks. Maybe even whilst I'm getting into the looks, so that's a rough idea. Let me know what you think. Do you like it? Because I would eventually like to start putting up kind of like short movies on here, like short experimental artistic films, like horror films that I make. Hoping to move over here a little more seriously and then release some more artistic, creative projects. So yeah, thank you for your support, it means a lot, and I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful evening. Bye bye.